Just gonna kind of introduce myself. I don't know if everyone really knows me or how I started playing, and I'll just talk about Pokemon TCG. But I wanted to kind of make a video with a face cam, so people know who I am, and also kind of the goal of the video and just the whole thing is to make it listenable, so people can kind of just put it on while they're driving or at lunch or working or whatever. So that's more consumable. So I guess I'll just talk about myself. I'll talk about how I got into Pokemon. I have so many stories I want to share from my time playing the game, but we'll start in 2007. So in 2007, I was embroiled in Pokemon. I love Pokemon. And it was Power Keepers, and I had recently started kind of realizing that the cards had text on them, and these cards could be played in a game. And I was kind of starting to get a little interested in playing the game. So I looked it up. I went to go-pokemon.com. It's on the back of every pack from the EX era if you look on the back of the packs. And I didn't get too far. I got distracted. Didn't really learn how to, like, there was a video, but I didn't watch it on how to play. But one thing I did know is Beach. So Beach was always reporting TCG news, and Diamond Pearl came out in Japan, and they teased the level X cards for the starters, and then Mysterious Treasures in Japanese came out, and they had the like, Lucario and things like that. And I was really starting to get excited about level X's. And then, like a year or so passed, and then they finally revealed like the Mesprit, Azelf, and Uxie level X, and I was starting to really get into it. And then they revealed Majestic Dawn. So when I went to Beach one day, it said Majestic Dawn, and at the time I was watching the anime, I thought it was like they were talking about Dawn the character, like Beach had gone like super weeb, and they were like talking about this child girl character, and I was kind of like disgusted. So I like didn't go to Beach for months. I was like, what are they on? Majestic Dawn? That's weird. Like, why would you call this like 10-year-old girl character Majestic, And I don't know why I thought that, but that's the truth. So I kind of disconnected from Beach, and I didn't really get any TCG information for a while. But then in late 2008, like early 2009, I had always still collected, but I went back to Beach because I was in Chicago, and we were in Schaumburg visiting my uncle, and Pokemon Platinum had just come out, and I actually got Pokemon Platinum the day before I was supposed to go back to St. Louis, and I played Pokemon Platinum on the drive home, and I loved it. I was Googling all about Platinum, and it said, oh, Pokemon TCG Platinum, new set coming out. Go to pre-release events. And I'm like, what's a pre-release? I found out you could get packs early. You could get packs before anyone. And at the time when you're a kid and you go to your boys that also like Pokemon and you're like, yo, look, I got cards way before they're out in stores. It's a big deal. Like you're always trying to aura, you're always trying to ego, you're always trying to clout chase when it comes to Pokemon back then. I was like all ready to go to Platinum pre-release and finally get my packs for anyone else and really learn how to play and experience what a actual TCG event is. And unfortunately, my mom signed me up for this winter biology course, which was exactly how it sounded. You were in a forest that was barren and covered in snow, and you were looking at plants. It was a complete waste of time. But it also happened to be during the time that Platinum was in pre-release. And so I didn't get to play. I actually did get finished with one class, but it was at like 11 o'clock, which is when the produce is supposed to start. And at the time, I didn't know, like, oh, I'm not there at 11, I can't go, right? I probably could have pulled up and been fine and maybe just lost the first round, still got my packs and learned how to play and had a great experience, but I didn't know. So I ended up skipping the Platinum pre releases, just bought packs, still didn't go to any stores or anything, just kept my eye on it. I kept going to Beach. It was rekindled now. Had a good relationship with Beach again. Then they talked about Rising Rivals, and I'm like, okay, the next Platinum set, they're going to have SP Pokemon. They had some SP Pokemon in Platinum, but they were going to go into like the Elite Four, Gym Leader, Champion. And I was really excited because I was like all about the Elite Four in Platinum. It was like the coolest thing ever. I ended up going to the Rising Rivals pre-release. I remember it was at a game store called Game Night. It was in South County Mall, right next to the food court. My mom came in with me. She parked. We walked in. I was like jumping around from excitement. She met Vince Kreckler, and Vince is so great. He's been great forever. He's he sees a new kid with the mom. The mom's kind of questioning it, and immediately he started talking to her, talking to me, really kind of guided me what to do. I was totally lost. Well, I wasn't lost. I was more like overwhelmed. I was so excited. I was like, oh, I get to do Pokemon stuff. I get to set. Finally, I get to set before anyone else. I get to be cool in the playground. And I fell in love with it. It was $15, I think. It was like 20 or $15. I met some people I still know there for the first time. One of them was named AJ. He had a Groudon Gold Star that he was selling for $15 to pay for the entry. And I remember being like, "Oh, you have a Gold Star? That's crazy." He's like, "Yeah," because AJ has been playing since the EX era. He had tons of EX era cards that he got from winning. He was a very good player. I had my buddy Andrew there. I had Tim. Tim also played back then. He was very good. They're all very good, and they all won a lot. And I was the new kid, and I was their age group. I was a senior. I loved it. I pulled a Float Soul GL level X. I thought it was the coolest thing ever, pulling a level X out of my packs. And yeah, that kind of just started it all. And I started going to events. I talked to all these people. They said, start going to these events. They handed me some posters advertising upcoming events like city championships, battle roads, and I just started going. And that was 2009. I played, and I would say I was definitely a competitor, but I didn't go to many events because the first time I flew to an event was in 2017, 2018 season, right after I got top eight at Fort Wayne with the Gardevoir GX and expanded. And I had a lot of momentum, and I took my money, my $750 back then is what they paid you. And this is in college too. And I used it on a ticket to go to Hartford, Connecticut, where I whiffed day two. And I was really upset about that. That was my first major finish. I had made day two, top 16. I'd never top eight, but I made top 16, top 32 many times in the regionals leading up to that. I mean, it used to be just top 32 makes day two, and it used to be crazy records that would make day two, like 5-4 and things like that. I remember I got ninth at St. Louis regionals. When was that? 2014, probably, I think, with Plasma. I got 40th at U.S. Nationals with Plasma, and it felt great. But I was kind of a one-trick guy. I would just play the same deck until it was just unplayable for that whole time. Never really deck built too much until I started getting more into the game and deeper facets of it. When Zorak GX came out, I really started getting into it. I was able to get my first invite to Worlds in 2018 season, the 2017-2018 season. I got my first top eight, and then was able to get enough points to get Worlds. And from that point onward, I really started to tick up my participation in the game. I've gotten 4 invites so far. I missed the London one. That was my senior year of college. I was pretty busy and poor, so I didn't want to fly many places. And then I've missed 2025 and 2026 this season. So I guess I'll get into where I'm at with this season, how I felt about it. I'll just talk about the decks I played. I had to miss Pittsburgh. I really wanted to go to Pittsburgh, but I had my 10th anniversary of graduating high school because I'm 29. I was 28, so I decided to go to that. I wanted to meet up with some people I knew from high school, so I skipped Pittsburgh. And I went to Milwaukee and I played Charizard Pidgeot. I really liked Charizard Pidgeot. It was one of my favorite decks to play during the time. And I played a more unconventional list. It wasn't like Jackson's list that played Dusknoir. I was kind of adamant that I didn't really like Dusknoir or the Clef Key. I was like, you don't really need it. You don't really need it to beat Pole. Yeah. And while I did beat some Palts, I didn't. Uh, do great, I guess. I mean, I made day two. So Milwaukee, round one, I played Lucario, got the win there. Round two, I played Grim. And I said, don't attack if you're not taking a KO or two-shotting Grim. So I must have played wrong, and I let them enable a Monkey Dory, but I still got the win there. And then I played against Palt Noir. It said, watch out for Jamming Tower, miss turns off Luminous. Yep. I put a Luminous on my Monkey Dory with a Mist. Or I put a Mist on my Monkey Dory with a Luminous, and I couldn't use it anymore. And then I played Pidgeot Eevee Box, got destroyed. Got destroyed. That was Sky. GG Sky. She destroyed me. It was tough. Then I played Terror Box. I lost to that too. So now I'm 3-2. 3-2, kind of bumming. I'm like, damn, I really like this deck, but I'm not doing too great. And then I played against Guardy. I went to time, was able to win on time. And then I played against Joltik Goldango. I never found that matchup too hard, and I was able to win there, but it was on a game 3. And I wrote, go second. And then I just ID'd to just get the day 2, get some points. That was against a Grim deck. So then going on to phase 2, I played against Raging Bolt. They just kind of dead drew twice. So I got lucky there. Raging Bolt can be kind of difficult, but if you really get your Charizards out and they don't snipe them before you can evolve, usually okay. I played against a Charizard. They had a slow start. That was actually against Caleb Guttimer, so getting a win against Caleb felt good. Boosted my confidence. I mean, Caleb Guttimer, he's very good. And then I played against a Grim and I won. So now I'm 8-1. It's a pretty good start now. And unfortunately, I lost the next 3 rounds against Polt Noir, Guardy, and then Polt Noir. The Polt Noir was able to KO my Pidgeot, which really stunk. And then Guardy, I went to time because they were just able to confuse me with Monkey Dory and just stall out and get a quick, a slower win game 1, then game 2, like the monkey just screwed me. And then I lost to another Polt Noir. Polt Noir is pretty tough. I was able to beat one earlier because I did the bench thing where you make a lot of Charizards. You make 2 Charizards and they can't really do anything. Can't take a knockout. And you're like, okay, I'm just gonna. If you kill one Charizard, all your Polts are dead. And I was able to get the win there. But otherwise, like my take on this event is I should have just played Dusknoir in my deck. I think I got a little adamant that my way was better when it clearly wasn't. Moving on to the next one, I went to Las Vegas. Las Vegas, I got 128. Actually had a great start here in Las Vegas. I started, I think it was 7-1. So round 1, I played against Grimmsnarl. I got a tie, which stunk. Round 2, I played against Greninja. Greninja's pretty easy. Round 3, I played against Zard. Getting a win on Zard's good. And then I played against a Goldango round 4. And I said, oh, they played Secret Box and Mawile. And some of these notes, I'm looking at these, are clear, makes it pretty clear that I didn't metagame really well. Or I didn't know like what to see in what to expect in decks. So that's like something I think I could have done better this season is just studied lists, like what people are going to be playing, what's popular. So I know what to expect, so I don't play into those cards and get punished for it, right? And then I play against Frostlass. Frostlass box is not that hard. A Pult and a Grimmsnarl and then a Dango. And I only so yeah, no, I went 7-0-1. 7-0-1. That's like one of the best starts I've gotten at a regional. And then I played against a Terror box, and that was Nico Alabas on Terror box. He's a very good player. And he played a Badoo, and I totally forgot that he played a Badoo, and I misplayed. I lost game 1 because he just PK'd me and then Ogre Pond me, Water Ogre Pond. And then game 2, I think I could have probably tied that matchup or maybe won, but I played into the Badoo locking me for a turn until he got a boss and won. So a little bit of a misplay there, but that's okay. We'll go on to day 2 where I played against a Goldango, Mirror, and they played Grammar and Vitality plus Power. And one thing I kind of told myself is that Cram is bad. I told myself Cram is bad, and turns out that Cram is pretty good. And I decided to play Lucario Riolu. Lucario was okay, but I think in terms of general variance, you probably want to play a Cram and then like another consistency card. And that's once again, like another thing that I was just like self-confirming coping, and I was like, no, this is better. This is my way's better, and I kind of got punished for it. So then I played a Polt and a Jelly Guardy, lost to Jelly Guardy. That was Bash Lashmet. He cooked me. I didn't know how to test against that. I told myself if I hit a Jelly Guardy, I'm just gonna lose, and I did. And that's just poor preparation. Once again, another poor preparation. sort of thing. I need to test more. And then I lost to another Polt, and then I finally beat a Guardy. So I ended up going 8-4 or 9-4 and 1. I got 128. Wasn't super happy about it, but 128, not too bad. I wish the start would have been a little bit better. Going on Toronto. Toronto was, even though I got day two, Toronto was by far my worst, most frustrating event. Once I couldn't play Goldango, I was pretty confident in Goldango at this point. I played the low punny this time. The low punny was pretty good. I was like worried about some counter stuff, like Cornerstone or Crustal maybe. This is a more optimized Goldango at this time. I played the three Goldango. I played the Trolley. People were like, no, Trolley sucks. You need to play Prime or you need to play Secret Box. I actually tested a lot for this event and I didn't really like Secret Box. But I think Secret Box would have probably enabled me to play a Cram, which I still didn't play, and it would have been better into the mirror, which is what destroyed me this tournament. I started off going 5-0 into Grim, Pult, Festival Lead, Dango, and Guardy Jelly. So I finally figured out the Guardy Jelly matchup. Oh, Low Pony was also very good in the Guardy Jelly matchup. And then from round 6, it got pretty bad. Round 6, I took a loss to Dango. They played the Cram and the Secret Box, which was the good list at the time. And I started Genesect game 1, which is just like terrible, right? You just kind of lose. And then game 2, I tried to capitalize on a misplay, but I prized 2 boss and I whiffed to lose. So that was just a poor play from me. I should have prize checked. I definitely went the wrong direction in that game. Maybe could have gotten a tie. I don't know. Would have been better. I mean, so I was 5-1, and round 7 I played against Terrorbox. I dead drew game 1. Game 2 I had a terrible start, and my opponent drew really well, and they were able to keep pressure on me. So I went from 5-0 to 5-2, and I just took the ID just to be like, all right, well, let's make it. I don't know what I was against, but I sat down and he was like, you're playing Gildingo, right? That's what your limitless says. And I'm like, oh my gosh, okay, I'm tying. No, why not? And then in round 9 I played against the Dango and I lost again because they played Cram and I didn't. And if you were playing Gildango during the time and you didn't play Cram, you're gonna lose. And then moving on to the second day, more phase 2, playing against Guardy, lost. I prized 5 energy in game 3 to whiff the Guardy KO, and I lost the prize race. The only way Guardy would beat you is prize ratio. Sometimes it would work. I had a chance to kill this Guardy, and I prized 5 energy, so I like physically could not knock it out. So very unlucky, very tilted, because now I'm 6-3-1 after a 5-0 start, and then I played against Zard. Zard's like so hard, I lost, and then I played against a Dango, and I finally got a win. So now I'm 6-4-1. Then I played against another Dango, and I whiffed a Metal Energy. In game 3 with 9 outs in a 14 card deck, I drew so many cards, and I did not hit a Metal Energy. And then my opponent, it's bad when your opponent's like, "Oh my God, you missed it." Yeah. So I got pretty unlucky, 6-5-1, and then I lost to an Alakazam because I misplayed by not KOing a Fez in game 2. And I think at that point I was kind of checked out. So I ended up getting 390th at that event, and I was hoping to replace that. Unfortunately, I didn't get to replace that later on. But moving on to Seattle, Seattle went a little bit better. I decided to go back to my love, which is Charizard. But I played a little unconventional Charizard, right? I played Charizard Dust Noir, but I played instead of Terra, or it was Terra, but instead of like the Terra being Terrapagos, it was Ogre Pond, 2 Water Pond. It was like Water Pond Zard, right? It was very good against Guardy. I was like Guardy's the best deck. I'm gonna beat Guardy, and it was very good against Guardy. And I ended up playing against 0 Guardy at Seattle. I still got 128. I wasn't happy with 128. Like I need a 64 or better to really feel like I'm keeping up with world's pace. So my matchups weren't too good. I'll go through them really quick. So I tied to Grimmsnarl. I won against the Dango. Lost to Crustle. I could have played the Chi-Yu, but I didn't. I just kind of take the L to cross stall. Oh, I did play one against one guardian. I destroyed him. And then I played against Dango, won. So now I'm 3-1-1. I played against the Zorak. I won in like 40 minutes. It took forever. I won in 40 minutes, and then it just went to time. So I won that match. Joltik Dango, very easy, won. And then I played against another Dango, and I won, right? So I was actually 7-1, 6-1-1, and then round nine I won again against the Dust Bolt. So I was 7-1-1 going into the second day. Very good start. It was just as good as my Vegas start, so I was feeling pretty good. I was like, I'm not gonna mess this up. My deck is good. I have great matchups. And then I hit Crustal round 10 to start the day. My buddy James, he destroyed me. I just couldn't beat Crustal. And then I played against Goldango, and I won. And then I played against Abzelbox, and the Abzelbox is terrible for me. Another Dango and another Abzelbox. So I hit three pretty bad matchups, four in total, and those are my only losses. So that this felt a little bit of uh, an unlucky matchup variance there. I actually think this is probably the best list I built for an event for any of the events I played in this season. So I was very proud of this list. I just didn't hit the matchups I needed to. I also maybe could have. I didn't test in the Absol box. I could have maybe tested in the Absol box a little bit more. I maybe played a couple different cards, but every card was used, and every card was felt very good. So um, I wasn't super upset about this finish. And then finally we go to LA, and this is my fifth day two in a row of the season. Actually, I day two'd NEIC last season, so this is my sixth day two in a row and fifth of the season. And LA was pretty good, but I this is my first post rotation event, and I decided to get a little fancy with it. So I was pretty adamant about like beating Pult and not playing Pult. So I played a deck that I felt beat Pult, and that was Team Rocket's Mewtwo. Is it fun? Yes. Is it good? No, not really. It's not that great. It wasn't a great pick because it loses to Starmie pretty bad, and I think my list was a little underdeveloped for the meta. Um, Once again, I was very adamant about like not copying what other people were playing. As when I like, it's another thing. Like I kind of get home after the event and I build a better list, right? And that's been frustrating. That's something I've done for a few seasons. It's been kind of frustrating. It's like, why didn't I reach this conclusion pre-event? You know. So round one, I played against another Rocket Box, but they played like Zapdos and stuff, and I got the win. I just went first and was able to get there. Then I played against Dustpult and I won. I have not actually lost to Pult in tournament with Rockets. So I mean that there seems like it's pretty good, but you have to hit the matchups, right? Then I played against Okidagi and I played totally into this Cornerstone Ogerpon. Okidagi's already tough, and then I just bench locked myself out of Cornerstone and he decked me, so I lost there. That was kind of frustrating. And then I played against another Pult, destroyed him. And that was Makani Tran. So, and then I played against Straight Pult, destroyed him, and that was Alex Hamilton. Those are, I mean, I'm playing against good players and getting wins, so I feel like I'm playing well. And I'm playing against Arboliva, and Arboliva got me. Arboliva was very tough, and that was one of the matchups that made me start being like, maybe Rockets Box isn't great. And right after that, I played against a Starmie last, and I knew going in like this is a matchup I don't want to see, and I was able to get a win. Maximum Belt saved me. So I go in phase two at 5-2-1. I take the ID. I'm just like, let's just try to get some points. You know, it's not a great start. Let's try to get some points. I don't know what I was going to play against round eight, but then right after that, in round nine, I play against another Starmie last, and they destroy me. And I'm like, oh, come on. Very frustrating. So then next day, I start out against the Metagross. So it's a pretty good matchup. So I won. Then I play against a Grim. Grim's pretty good. I won there. And then I played against another Starmie and I lost. And I'm just like upset. I'm just like, oh my gosh. I so five of my matchups were just not great. I guess I could like say like be oh woe was me, but I think I should have just played a better deck, you know. I think if I had played Pult, I would have done just as good or maybe better. like I actually think Pult is like pretty good in the Starmie. So I think if I had played like Pult the Dunsparce or something, I would have just done much better. I probably would have gotten better than 256. So and then I finally ended it with a Dust Pult win, getting 145th place. And yeah, that was the last time I made day two. I went to Indy, and that was the worst event I'd played in terms of my record. I went 3-3 at Indy. I had some crazy matchups. I also played Rockets. I thought Rockets was still good. Not the greatest choice by me. So round one, I played against a Blaziken Dunsparce that did not play Pult. I wish it played Pult. I think I would have won if it played Pult, but it did not play Pult. So I lost there. That was a weird matchup. I don't think I played it well either. Then I played against Alakazam, and I was like, oh, let's go. You know, they flip over Adra. I'm like, cool. Alakazam, I know how to beat this one. You know, it's very easy. And then they also play down a Duskull, and they're playing Dusknoir in their Alakazam, and I'm like, oh my God, I lose. And yeah, so they just blew up my Articunos whenever they needed to, and would just kill whatever they needed to, and it was terrible. Then I played against Arboliva, and I was like, I know this matchup. I tested it. I think I can get a win, and I was able to get a win. I was 2-0. I 2-0'd Arboliva. Thank goodness. Matchups were not in my favor so far. Then I played against the Pult Hammers. I won. I always beat Pult with this deck. Then a Starmie Frostlass, and I was able to get the win there. I tested that too when I got home. I was like, okay, I can beat this. So I'm 3-2. I'm like not feeling great. And then I play against a Hydrapple, and I get absolutely smoked. And that's the problem with Rocket is there's a couple matchups out there that just are so bad. Like at least with Pult, you can like unfair stamp, you can crushing hammer, and maybe cheese your way back into the game. But like Rocket, you can't do that. It's very polarizing. You hit a matchup, you're probably gonna lose. If you hit a matchup that's good, you're probably gonna win. And I just don't know if that was the correct take to play for this format. So I'm still kind of figuring out post rotation. I'm going to try to figure it out before the next season. So that was a little disappointing. I was hoping to get like a replacement of my finish in Toronto. And then going on to NAIC, which was just 2 weeks later, I decided to finally play Pulp. I finally played Pulp. I played Pulp Dusknoir with hammers, cut the rare candies. I did a lot of testing. I grinded to like 1600 ladder, which is a lot for me because I don't have too much time. I went 4-3, and I missed Worlds. I ended up with 521 points. I did not get close to maxing out my locals. I think I needed like 70 more points, so I didn't even get over 200 points from locals. Round one, I go against Starmie. They dead drew twice. It was an easy win. Then I played against Straight Pult, um, and I got the win there. That was Hiromu Sasaki. He's a very good Japanese player, so I was feeling really good. Then I played against the Slow King. I got smoked. I got smoked by Slow King. I still played the judge. I still played the red card, but in that list, in the list I played Crystal. And Crystal is actually pretty good, but I just think unfair stamp, you just you can just kind of like get out of bad hands and other stuff with unfair stamp. And there was a couple games I played later in the tournament where I had a crystal in my hand. If it had been unfair stamp, I might have gotten back in the game. Where instead I just had a dead hand and I just lost, right? And then I played against Starmie Dusk. Again, another Starmie. Thank God I didn't play Rocket for this event, and I won. Then I played against Zoroark. And if I had played Rocket, I'd probably still be 3-2, but I got destroyed by Zoroark. So 3-2 going to round six. I played against the Pult Hammers, got the win there. Crystal really helped there. And then round seven, I played against another Pult Hammers, and Crystal got caught in my hand and did nothing. And if it had been an unfair stamp, I probably would have at least gotten out of it and maybe had more of a chance. But round seven, I started like two Duskulls, no Dreepy, and they just badooed me, and I had like 4 energy in my hand. I just dead drew, and they won. And then game two, I didn't get a Dreepy down. Same story. I go in first, and then they just badoo me again, and I'm like, okay, drawing all my items, my buddies, and I can't play them. And that's kind of how like Pult Mirror felt in testing. I was like, maybe I'll just draw out of it, but I probably should have just played like Pult the Dunsparce. I think if I had played just a consistent deck, it would have been better. It would have just been better. I could have maybe day two, right? So once again, another like confirmation error where I just think I do it better, and I don't play a better list that someone else made. I try to play my own lists, which is something I did. I think like one good takeaway this season is that every single list of mine was unique. They were my lists that I built. I think I got pretty good at deck building because of that. And I think I like was more confident. I know I had some confidence issues where I came to wrong conclusions because I was like self-bias, but I guess saying that like makes me realize that maybe I should just play the best deck available instead of something that just tries to counter everything. That's like all how I've been. It's like I always just want to counter stuff and just have complete dominance over the top deck, right? Where I should probably just play the top deck and get really good at it. And I was actually looking at a lot of the players that qualify for Worlds that aren't in that aren't like the upper echelon players, but like players that are pretty good, qualify for Worlds this year, maybe qualify for Worlds last year, and most of them just played good decks. Like most of them just played either a list that's very similar or the same as like a top deck, or they all just played Pult, or they all just played Guardy before it rotated, or and then I look at what I was playing, and I was playing crazy stuff, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It definitely did not work. I think if you want to play crazy stuff, you have to be really sure that it's one, a good list, and two, that your meta call is correct. And I don't think I'm great at meta calling, so I'm gonna try to get better at that next season. And another thing I want to do next season is try to play more games. Just hit 1700 elo on live every live season, every ladder. Stop being so egotistical about my card choices. Like if someone says it's bad, I should probably listen instead of being like, no, I know better. I've done well before, right? It's definitely holding me back. I'm gonna try to take more notes. I'm glad I had my note app that I was using to take all my rounds and see my matchups, but I think I would like to take notes as I go in testing. And then no more tying at 5-2. I'm going to play it out. Making day two is okay, but if you make day two and get 256 or 512 or even 128, really doesn't matter. So I think I should try to just play it out at 5-2. If I go 5-3, okay, I'll go home. If I go 6-2, I'm a lot better off. Maybe I can go 7-2 going into the second day. Maybe I go 6-3, but still 6-3 is better than 5-3-1, right? So I think that will probably increase my chances to do better and get more points. Like maybe try to get top 64, try to get top 32. I guess my goals for next season is definitely make Worlds. I want to try to go to Worlds. I do want to cash. I'm at 9K lifetime uh, cash, and I would like to cross the 10K barrier. I would like to like not go as many events. Like that was one thing I did this season is a few seasons, I went to like a lot of stuff, like 8 regionals, 2 ICs, and it was a lot. So this season I went to 6 regionals, 1 IC, 7 events, and I felt like that was pretty good. I could have gone to like 9, um, but I skipped Houston and Orlando just to take a break. And that was really good that I did. I was super excited to play in LA. I want to try to just do that. I want to try to play in less events, but still have better quality finishes. So I make Worlds in less events. Obviously, the best way to get better at the game is to play as much as possible. So if you want to get better at the game, you should try to go to as many events as possible. But for me, I want to like try to save money. So I need to get to the point where I can get Worlds and I can maybe get some money and only go to like 7 events a year or less, right? So, but I will say like overall, I was able to play my own list. I had a lot of fun playing this season. I felt way less stressed about the tournaments because I didn't have many to play in. I still have a lot of high expectations for myself, so I still was kind of stressed, but I wasn't as bad as it used to be. And I thought like 5 out of 7 phase twos is pretty good. I think that's like, what is that? The most day twos I've had in a season, or like the best conversion rate I've ever had. So there's an improvement there. But otherwise, yeah, I think that's like kind of it. Moving forward, I want to start doing more videos, more deck explanations. I left the PokeBeach writing program. I tried joining it. It's been kind of a tough year for me. I lost my job in February in Chicago, so I had to move back. Hence why, like, I actually live in a small town in Chicago, So that's why I didn't really play many locals because I would have to drive over an hour to go to a league challenge that would last, 2, maybe 3 hours. So I was like very discouraged to go to local events. So then I came back to St. Louis to live with my family, be close to friends' family, and that was in late March. And I played a lot of local events before they stopped in May. I think I played just as many local events in those 2 months than I did in like the 6 months the start of the season, So I think I'll be able to get a lot more locals points next season, staying in St. Louis. So hopefully I can get to like 800 points. I think I can definitely get to 800 points, definitely 700. Hopefully 800 is like my goal next season. And yeah, I think I'm really excited to play next season. I'm gonna be playing a few tournaments off season and then watching Worlds. I'm gonna be discussing like Pitch Black very soon, what we should play, what people should play. And like I said, I left Poke Beach, so that gives me more freedom. It wasn't like they were constricting me or anything, but like I'm not gonna tweet or make videos about what I'm gonna be writing about, right? Because that's not very fair. But I appreciate you guys